Well, hello. For this video, I want to start out with just a little bit of a humorous line, but then I'm going to expand on how we avoid it and stuff. I'll give you a quick story of where this came from. The line is simply this. We've all heard it, and I say it with a little bit of a joke in the back of my mind, that you can't fix stupid, and we've all sort of heard that. But here's the thing. I want to kind of give you a quick story about it, which is very interesting, that sort of ties this together. There's a gentleman who actually was a sergeant in the Army, and he would describe his main job as boot pushing. For those that have been in the military, kind of know what that means. What he did, his entire focus was developing soldiers to be ready if they ever had to go into combat or into a war or something like that. And it was sort of interesting because as he was describing that, he was having a conversation with his father, and his father looked at him and said, "Well, you can't fix stupid." And he looked at his father lovingly but very candidly and said, "Dad, you're wrong, because it's my job to do that." And what he found was, as he began to describe what he does to his dad and to the group that he was talking to, he realized that his responsibility was take people that did not even have a real understanding of the environment, for the most part, and make them into somebody that could survive and win and be victorious in a changing, rapidly environment. Of course, let's face it, there's probably no more rapidly changing environment than combat itself. He talked about that as being his job. And what he realized is he had to change their insights. He had to create an environment where it was very challenging to cause the people to develop within themselves an aspect where they could improve along the way. And I'm going to expand on that in just a second in terms of leading teams. But the bottom line is this sergeant had 3 tours in the area of Afghanistan and that area. And in those 3 tours, he did not lose one single soldier to the challenging situation over there. So he's very successful in what he did. But some people will blow it off, say, "Well, you can't fix stupid." Yeah, you can, and as a leader, very often it's your job to. But that doesn't come through putting your thumb on their throat and demanding. That comes from developing. And I throw this little analogy out that a pilot client that I have worked with for a number of years posted today, and it was very interesting. Let me just quote you this one thing, and then I'm going to expand on it in terms of how we go about doing that. He talks about this. He said, "For years we've been hearing safety first. What should it be?" He said, "What does that mean anyway?" The word safety, or the word win, is a noun, in a sense. Safety is not something you do, it's something that you result in when you proactively prepare for it. Most of you know that I'm getting my PhD in neuroscience through Canterbury University in London, UK. And where I'm taking this is to pilot training at a professional level, because it is so key and aligned with what that sergeant experienced and what his job was. And it's very interesting that if you think about it, questions come up when you're talking about preparing somebody to be successful in a rapidly changing environment. Some of these questions are, what has happened in the past to us and others in this type of environment? What could happen in the future that I'm not aware of, that I'm not expecting? What are the developing measures that could prevent those things from happening right now? Do we have a culture of high standards and expectations? Do we have a culture within our team of continuous learning? It was interesting, I haven't shared it really on a video yet, but there was a time way back when I was a co-pilot in the Learjet, and they parked us at Scott Air Force Base right next to a NASA T-38. And I was doing the post-flight while the captain was in, setting the next flight plan leg and all that. And I heard some footsteps walk up. And I kind of bent down like this, and there's a guy standing there in a NASA powder blue flight suit with the red, white, and blue NASA emblem right here. And he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Oh, good, how are you?" And I didn't want to ask him, "Have you been to space yet?" Because he might say, "Well, no, I'm the janitor. They just let me wear this," kind of thing. Well, it turned out, I asked him, I said, "Are you training for a space flight?" I thought that was a safe question. He said, "Yeah, in fact, I'm going up on the shuttle next Friday. I'm here for my final physical before the space flight." And he was a payload specialist on the shuttle that launched 1 week from then. It pictured a real good picture of a culture of continuous learning, because here I am, relatively new guy in a Learjet, and he is asking me all about my airplane. And he's going into space the next week. This culture of continuous learning, what are we learning about ourselves, about our team? As a leader, what am I learning about myself that I didn't see before? When you're talking about the aspect of you can't fix stupid, yes you can, but it's not done through just telling them. And it's not done through telling them what to do. It's done through asking the great questions, leading them and coaching them to learn about what their experience was with it and how they may need to change within themselves. Because what I perceive of them may not be exactly right. If I can tap into where they are and help improve them right where they are with what they're doing, that's what I want as a leader. And it's interesting that it's very key, and it's something that's often missed in our society as a whole, because there was another doctor that was giving a talk, and it was very interesting because he said, you know, it's interesting, we can have the right goal in mind and get there totally the wrong way, in a way that hurts us and gets in our way of our success. And when you're talking about trying to fix stupid, and saying that with a little bit of humor, it's a good goal. But how are you really going to get there, and are you succeeding in that? The way you get there is not just through lecturing them or telling them or giving them a PowerPoint presentation. The way you get there is connecting in with them, leading them, helping them to understand what their experience has been and how it fits in with the context of the situation, and where are we going? What do we need to go next? Those kind of things. So it is sort of humorous when you talk about you can't fix stupid, but you know what? You can. As a leader, though, you got to understand how you really do that. So I leave that with you for this week.